discussion, the last class we have seen the array implementation of linked list, the list. Today's class we will see the linked list implementation of list. So as I told you earlier, it's a pointer implementation. So here we'll be having something called nodes. Each node consisting of two fields. One field is used to store the data, and the other field is usually used to hold the address of the next node. Okay, these are all self-referential structures. Linked list is basically a self-referential structure, a structure which pointing to another structure or hold the address of another structure, something like that. Okay, so ensure that the list is not stored contiguously. So if you compare this one with array implementation, here the elements are not stored contiguously. They are in non-contiguous fashion. They may be stored anywhere in the RAM, but we are maintaining those links. Okay, whenever you follow those links, you will get that order. Like the first node will contain the address of the second node. The second node need not be the contiguous, need not be present in the contiguous memory locations of the first node. It may be somewhere in the 10th memory location. But as long as you keep the address of the 10th location in first location, okay, that's enough. Okay, if you follow those links, you will get the actual required list. So that is the advantage here. So there is no question of compaction here. In arrays, like even though the memory is there in the empty locations are there by means of non-contiguous blocks of memory, but we cannot allocate them as a contiguous piece of flags. Okay, that is one of the problem associated with the arrays. Okay, so that is rectified here. Here the elements are stored non-contiguously. They can be stored anywhere in the RAM as long as you maintain these links. That is sufficient, right? So as you can see here, a series of structures that are not necessarily adjacent in memory. So here is an example. As you can see here, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5. The important thing here is A1, A2, A3, A4, A5 or the data items in the list. Each node consisting of two fields. As you can see here, the first node, on the first node, first field will be storing A1, and the next field usually the link field, which we often call it as link field or the next field. Okay, this field holds the address of the next node. Here node is nothing but a structure consisting of two members. The first member is a data member, and the second member is a linked member, linked to the similar kind of structure. Okay, self-referential structures, right? So one thing you need to observe here is the last node next pointer or the last node next link points to null. Okay, generally we use this forward slash or this battery symbol, neutral symbol or at symbol, we can say, right, to indicate the null pointer. Null means there are no further elements in the list. Okay, this is a classical example of this picture depicts the linked list. So as I told you earlier, each node contains the element and a pointer to a structure containing its successor. Okay, A2 is A1 successor. Okay, that is the reason why each node, A1 contains the element and a pointer to a structure containing its successor. That means A1 contains A1 in the data field, and the next field it contains the address of its successor. Its successor is A2. Okay. Remember here, we are not storing the address of A4 in A1. We are storing the address of A2 in A1. Okay. Why? Because A2 follows immediately after A1 in the list. right? If A4 follows immediately after A1, then you are supposed to store the address of A4 in the linked field of A1. Okay. So if you want to maintain that order, what you have to do, you have to all the successor nodes addresses must be stored in their previous nodes linked fields. Okay. As I told earlier, the last cell's next link points to null. Okay, this one. Compared to the array implementation, the pointer implementation uses only as much space as needed for the elements currently on the list, but requires additional space for maintaining these pointers. Okay, so when you compare this implementation of list with the array implementation of list, here we need more number of memory cells. Why? Because instead of the data elements, we are also storing the addresses of those data elements. Okay, so we need some additional fields for keep tracking of all these pointers. Okay, that is the additional space requirement when you go for the linked list. But the advantage with linked list implementation is that it can be dynamically allocated or deallocated. Okay, whenever you need, whenever you want to grow your list, you can at that instant of time you can create your new node and you can attach it to the existing list. Or say suppose if you want to truncate some portion of the list, that is also that can also be done during the runtime. Okay, so that is the advantage. The main advantage with the linked list is it can be dynamically grow or shrink as and when it is needed, right? That is not the case with arrays. Okay, arrays are, I mean, they're predefined, pre-sized. Okay, once you declare the size, even though whether you have used the complete array or not, uh, I mean, allocation will be done. Okay, if you use fewer elements than the allocated size, then definitely that is going to be, I mean, you're merely you're wasting some of the memory locations. Those memory locations cannot be used in another program or in another process. Okay, so we should be very cautious while creating arrays. Okay, so don't create arrays with few sizes, like say array of size 100, even though you are using only few elements like 10 or 15. The remaining 95, I mean 85 or 80 elements, 80 locations are going to be waste. Okay. Here in linked list case, as and when it is required, we'll create a new node by means of those dynamic memory allocation functions. If you're coding this with C, you can use reallog, and malloc functions as you might have studied in your previous course. Or if you go for C++, we have something called dynamic memory allocation operator called new. By using new, as and when you require, you can create new nodes. And if they're no longer needed, then you can free them by calling the free operator. Like there also, I think in C also we have this free deallocation function, right? Now let us look into the implementation aspects of the linked list, right? Now, as I told you earlier, this linked list is a collection of nodes. Each node consisting of at least a piece of data, a pointer to the next node in the list. Okay. Now we need to implement this. How to implement this? You need to create a node structure. All these nodes are same. They are similar type. Each node consisting of a data piece and a link piece or link field, we can say, right? Now how to create that one? It's pretty simple. All that you need to do is you have to create a structure, or like if you are programming this by using C, you have to create a structure. Or else if you go for C++, there we have an alternative for structure that is called class. Okay, so let us talk about the structures since you are not familiar with the classes. Let me continue with the structures. In structures, what we'll do is struct. So this is how we'll declare structures in C. I'm going to create a structure called node, struct keyword followed by name of the structure, that is say node, and I'm going to add two structure members. The first structure member is I'm going to store character data. If that is the case, char data. Okay, data is my variable of type char, semicolon, then followed by struct node star. Okay, here one important thing that you need to observe here is I'm going to create a node pointer. Node pointer. What is node here? This structure. Okay. Node pointer. What is node pointer? Node pointer holds the address of another node. Something similar to your integer pointer. Integer pointer is used to hold the address of another integer value. Okay. Similarly, floating point pointer used to hold the address of another floating point data. Okay. So in the similar grounds, we have to declare a node pointer which can hold the address of its successor, right? So this is how we'll create a linked list, right? So as you can see here, instead of, apart from the actual nodes, we'll be using two sentinel nodes also. These sentinel nodes are, especially they are used to keep track of the items or the elements in the list. Okay, these sentinel nodes are often called as, generally we use two sentinel nodes. One is head, the other one is tail. Okay, so the head node, it doesn't contain any data item in it. Okay, actually it's a pointer which points to the first node in the list. Okay, that means in the head node we are going to hold, or we are going to place the address of the starting node of the list. Okay, so if the head node address is with you, then you can trace the linked list, right? Similarly, the last node next is a null pointer. No, the last node will take one more pointer called tail. Okay, this tail pointer holds the address of the last node. Okay, so by using these head and tail nodes, we can easily, do some of the, it will give more comfort or more flexibility while performing some of the operations. Some of the programmers, they will omit those things also. That's up to you, right? So, but it is always recommended. It is always suggestible to use the sentinel nodes. Okay, right? So head pointer to the first node, the last node points to null. Okay. So actually this is a linked list, class that is an implementation in C, but let us look at this code, the bottom one, class node. Instead of class node, just replace this. Okay. In the place of class, just assume this is struct node. Forget about this public keyword, double data and node star next. Okay, these two are the data items that we are going to have. Okay, these are said to be structure members. Okay, each node consisting of a data item and a next item. Okay, next item is a pointer field of type node. Data item is a variable of type double. Okay, as you can see here, we use two classes, node and list. So forget about this list. Actually, these slides are, I have prepared these slides for data structures with C++ course, but you're not familiar with C++. That's why I'm skipping some of the content here, right? So just look at this structure and get familiar with it. That is required for our discussion. Okay, as we move on, we are going to refer a lot about this structure, right? So you can see here, these are the operations, right? These are the operations that we can perform on linked list. Okay, like you can do plenty of operations, but only few are the primitive ones are shown here, right? One such operation is isempty. Isempty operation is primarily it's a Boolean operation. Okay, it determines whether or not the list is empty, right? It's very simple. You want to probe whether the list is empty or not. So for that you have to call isEmpty function, right? So the next one is insert node function. Insert node is basically there are several versions of this insertion function. Like you can insert at the beginning of the list, or you can insert your elements at the end of the list. Usually this operation is called append, appending a list, or you can insert your element at a specific location, say after the third node or after the fourth node or after the 25th node or something like that. Okay, right? So your insertion operation based on these three things. Okay, like if you want to insert at the beginning, you need to know the address of the header node. If you want to insert at the end, you need to know the address of the last node. But if you want to insert at a specific location, you need to know the position. Okay, the third case is somewhat complex. You need to traverse up to that location where you want to insert. Then you have to create a new node there and you have to insert. Okay, so that we'll see once we look into the code, then it will be more clear to you. These are all simple operations, but only thing is you need to get some familiarity with the coding, and then it's going to be pretty simple, I can say, right? Find node. So find node is something like when you're asked to find a particular node. Say suppose where is A1 or where is A5. Like if you recall the previous list A1 to A5, A5 happens to be the last node in the list. Okay, so the find node operation will, it will return the index of the A5. So what is the index of A5 here? A5 happens to be the fifth node. Okay, so it will return 5. 5 in the sense A5 is the fifth node in the list. Okay, the lookup operation, find node operation or lookup operation. Delete a node with a given value. So suppose I want to delete A3. Okay, so you have to do this very cautiously, deletion operation. Why? Because if you carelessly delete some of the elements, what happens is we are only holding the address of successors in its previous node. So suppose if the previous node, if you delete carelessly, then what happens is you will lose the remaining list. It is untraceable. Okay, so while deleting an element, we should be very cautious. Okay, so I will tell you how to do that in a short while of time. Display list. Display list is merely like we'll start with the head node and we'll try to follow the links. As we move on, we just print the data element, then we'll go to the next link, and then we'll find the next element and print it, and then go to the next link, so on up until you hit the null point. Okay, we'll just move on the links. We'll keep tracking on the links and finding out the data item and printing it. Okay, render the value that is there in the data field. Okay, that is what we call display list. Right, so let us see, let us discuss in deep about these operations. Okay, in terms of implementation coding, right? So as you can see here, inserting a new node, you have to consider several cases here, right? So the function name is insert node, the return type is node star. Okay, after inserting the node, it has to return the address of the newly inserted node. Okay, that is the reason why the return type is node star here. Insert node, int index and double comma x. This particular function, it addresses the third case. Third case, what is the third case here? The third case is I want to insert my new element at a specific location. Specific location. So suppose if you want to insert your element at a specific location, you need to pass two things. Okay, you need to give two parameters. What are they? Where you want to insert and what you want to insert. Okay, the position you need to specify and the element that you want to insert. I mean, you need to specify these two things. Okay, so that is the reason why this particular function will take two parameters, int index and double x. Double x is the data item that you want to insert, and int index will specify the position after after which you want to insert your double x, right? Now see, insert a node with data equal to x after the indexed elements. Okay, insert a node with data x equal to x after the indexed element. Okay, so that is the meaning of this I mean function prototype. When index is 0, insert the node as the first element. If index is 0, that is an indication that, right, we are inserting at the very first location after the header node. When index is 1, insert the node after the first element. Okay, and so on, right? So the same function can be used to insert at the beginning or insert at the specific location. So we will see the second case, insert at the end later on, right? If the insertion is successful, return the inserted node, otherwise return null. Okay. If it is successful, if this function is successful, it will return the inserted node, otherwise it will return null. If index is less than 0 or it is less than the length of the list, insertion will fail. Okay, right? So these are the criteria that you need to follow while coding this insert node function, right? If index is less than 0, we can't do anything, right? If it is greater than the length of the list, we can't do anything. The insertion will fail. Okay, those two cases you need to handle. So as you can see here in the diagram, indexed element is this one and the new node is this one. Okay, earlier we have this link between the indexed element and its next element. Now what you have to do, you have to manipulate your pointers in such a way that indexed element next node points to new node and new node next points to indexed element next. Okay, so that we'll see in the next slide. Right, these are the steps. First we need to locate indexed element. So a element తర్వాత అయితే మనం ఇన్సర్ట్ చేయాలనుకుంటున్నాం. First we need to go there. Okay, allocate memory for the new node. Create a new node by calling the dynamic memory allocation operations like cloc or mloc. Create a new node there. Point the new node to its successor. Point the new node to its successor. What is new node here? This one. A pointer of the new node now holds the address of indexed node next. What is the indexed node next? This node. Indexed node successor, previous successor. Now it becomes the successor of the new node. Okay. Now what happens is, even though if we cut short this link, this list, the remaining list is available with us. Okay, that is available with the new node. Now we are just point the new node's predecessor to the new node. Point the new node's predecessor, that is the indexed element, to the new node. Any doubts so far? Hello? Any doubts so far?